Hello, Namaste, Sat good evening. Welcome to the S.S.Chandhok talk show. I'm your host and moderator S.S.Chandhok. Today, once again, we have gathered here to discuss about a very, very important topic, which is how to get kids overcome maths phobia. It's a very important topic because we usually see that after grade 5, the children till grade 5, or we can say till grade 5, children enjoy mathematics. But when it comes to middle school, they have a phobia around them that now maths is going to be a very difficult subject for them. So to remove this myth that this is not like this, maths is always an interesting subject. How we can more, make it more interesting, how we can remove this phobia. This is the only aim to discuss in today's session. Without taking any time, I will just introduce you to the very first eminent guest. First, we have Rashmi Lohan ma'am. We will also congratulate today ma'am that she also has changed her institution. She has come up to Aditya Birla Public School, Gujarat, and that's a very big name in India. Nobody has to introduce this name. She has become the principal. Congratulations, first of all, ma'am, for
Thank
becoming the
you.
principal
Thank you.
of Aditya Birla Public School. That
Thank
is a
you.
very big and branded school with a very good salary and not a lot of things which already we discussed yesterday also. And
Thank you.
I mean, ma'am, it is the right place you have reached over because you have such a wide knowledge and you have such a great experience, and you also belong to an army background, and so much of knowledge you have, which I have been seeing through these years. That this is the best place we have reached over. Thank you so much, ma'am,
Thank
and
you,
coming for
sir.
coming
That's
to.
your magnanimity. Thank you.
Pleasure is mine, ma'am. Ma'am, please in precise let us know about yourself. People would like to know about you, about your educational journey, ma'am.
Okay, right. The education journey actually, once you are here, have been traveled so long, when you look backward, you take time that from where to start. But no doubt, it has been, to me, it has always been a changing phase. I studied in around 10 different schools, my father being in a government job and traveling and then posted one place to another. And then after that, the same thing happened when I started my career as a teacher, as an English teacher. So again, being groomed and developed in army background, I have taught in around 10 different schools. But lately, I was a principal in DAV Police Public School for 6 years altogether in Gurgaon. And now, by God's grace, or what I say, I am here in Gujarat and have joined Aditya Birla Public School lately.
That's amazing, ma'am. You have a wonderful journey, education journey, and as a teacher, will always remain for sure. As a teacher and as a administrator, you always have done very good to the schools. Yeah, Devi also came up to a very good name when you were there, and it will also flourish. And this will also be the same in the new schools. Welcome, ma'am, and thank you so much for coming.
Thank
Next,
you.
we
Thank
have
you.
Nikita Kothari, ma'am. She is the principal of Arunodaya Public School, Thane. That is also a very prestigious institution in Thane. Welcome, ma'am, and thank you so much for coming once again to the show. Ma'am, please let us know about yourself.
Thank you and namaste. It's a pleasure to come on your show, sir. To talk about myself, I'm simple human being trying to do my best, whatever in my capacities. I have 29 years of experience. I started my career as an assistant pre-primary teacher in 1998, and from since then I'm working relentlessly, trying to do my best. My initial salary was just 300 rupees, and when I look back the journey, I want to tell everyone and each and everyone that you have to have that dream to accomplish, and you can do it. I feel that each and every person giving 10 standard, 12 standard, so many failures, if you determine that you are supposed to do one thing, you can do it. And this is me right in front of you, trying to do my best. Back to you,
That's
sir.
amazing. Thank you so much, ma'am. And that's a very, you've given an inspiration to everyone that if you have desperation in you, being an average student also, maybe in the schooling or college, you can rule the world. And we have seen the best leaders in the world. They had been had so much failures throughout their life, but at the end of the day, they went through and they made the name till now. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for coming. Next, we have Dimple Puri, ma'am. She is now the principal of Seth M.R. Jaipuria School, which is a very prestigious institution in at least in the UP, Greater Noida. Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming, Dimple, ma'am, and congratulations once again for coming up to the show, and congratulations for joining this M.R. Jaipuria group, which is a very good group for sure. Thank you so much, ma'am. Please let us know about yourself, your journey from a teacher to a principal.
Oh, thank you, Chandok sir, for having me here. And actually, this is a great opportunity for me to get myself acquainted with such a distinguished panel. And let me share my experience with Chandok sir. I know him for the last 1 year. So pandemic was a great time when we knew each other, and I got to know about the good work that he's doing for the educational fraternity. So thank you so much, sir. And talking about myself, I hail from Amritsar, Punjab, and I have done my master's in botany from Guru Nanak Dev University. I'm a certified counselor from UCLA, and recently I have done, my continuous professional development course with Nile University, UK. It was an online course on technologies and approaches to blended, hybrid, and online learning. So I am a learner. I am a continuous learner. I call myself a teacher at heart. And talking about my, educational career, I started my journey with DPS Noida, and then I worked with some of the best schools of Delhi, NCR. Alcon International School. I started my career as a biology teacher there, and then I grew up to a headmistress. I'm a British Council School Ambassador. I'm a decorated CBSE Teachers Awardee. I am an avid author. I write many educational articles for leading national, international magazines. I contribute for some community outreach programs with the SDG Chapal and Niti Aayog. So this is my educational journey. And thank you so much, sir, for having me here. And thank you to all of you for, really giving a patient listening to whatever I've said. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to you, ma'am, because you have so much knowledge and so much work you are doing. Of course, you have to rise to there's no age of learning, what we say.
Yeah.
Till the last breath we take, we learn. And the courses still you are doing with that, amazing it is. Yes, this pandemic also taught a lot of things, because I, even after 1 year before, it's almost 1 year I'm completing up with my show. Around 75 plus episodes I've done till now with the principals and managements. So it feels very proud when you see there's no age of learning. So we are learning, we are getting together, we are knowing each other. Why? Because of this technology only.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much, ma'am. Because if we will not be innovating, will not be learning, we won't be able to give to the children also, for sure. Thank you so much and welcome, ma'am. Next, we have Manisha Johri, ma'am. She is the principal of a very prestigious institution in Bhopal, that is Astani Public School. Thank you, ma'am, for coming. This is the first time you're coming up to the show, and thank you so much for coming. Please let us know about your educational journey. That did you came into this profession by chance or by choice, and from a teacher to a principal, please.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chandhok, for inviting me over, and I'm here to learn and also share whatever we have done during the pandemic, some innovative things we did. So I would like to share it with the other principals. And yes, as you rightly said, I'm a teacher and a I'm a teacher by chance, not choice. My entire education happened in Delhi. I was born and brought up in Delhi, and I wanted to be a journalist. But it so happened that when I went to Ajmer after marriage, there was no option for being a journalist. And somebody suggested, why don't you go and do B.Ed, So I got through this NCRT RI college, B.Ed college, and then people pushed me into doing B.Ed. I didn't want to do B.Ed. But then after doing B.Ed and doing the teachers training, I thought this is where I belong, and I've never looked back from there. My first career, this thing teaching was with Mayo College Girls School. I'm basically a physics teacher, and when I went into teaching, I said, yes, this is where I love to be with children. The innocence that you see there, you don't see it anywhere else. And this was 1997. And from 1997, I have taught in Mayo College, then I taught in the day school. Then I went to Bangalore, I taught in Bangalore. But I decided that I have to, come to administrative role, because if to bring about a change, you need to be, in the administrative role. Somehow I thought that. So in 2014, I became the vice principal of the school where I was serving in Bangalore. And then I was in Delhi for some time, and now I'm in Bangalore. So this school was initially with Pearson. We were in academic partnership with Pearson. So there was a lot of learning that happened during that time as a leader and as a teacher. So that's been my journey, long and short. So
That's amazing, man. You have a great knowledge. You have worked with so many good brands, also Mayo and many other institutes you have worked with. A lot of experience, man. Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming, and welcome to the show. Next we have Nirmal Shah sir. He's a very pleasing personality. Talking about him, he is the co-founder of Counting Well, a maths learning app for middle schoolers. Their goal is to make maths learning easy, anxiety-free, and participative for children across the country. Their focus is to help the so-called average students become more confident with maths and develop great problem-solving skills. They step in where school teachers are not able to provide personalized attention due to lack of time and bandwidth. He is also designing career and life lesson courses for the age group of 10 to 14 group that is built around mathematics. Their funda is that kids must know that maths matter and it will matter throughout their life. The best way to do that is to show them how. So coming up practically, when I met Nirmal Shah sir in a show where again we were as a co-speakers when I came to know about his Counting Well. So I was very much enthusiastic to know about what it is actually. So I came to know that it actually works with mathematics, and I just asked him why did he go up into the middle school from the starting, or why not from grade 1? So he told me that the concept realized me, which sometimes we know, but we are not, get focused to it. That in middle school from 6th onwards, the students, they have having problem for the mathematics. Even it may be the peer pressure, it may be from the parents, from the teachers. Now maths is going to be very difficult subject for you. Teachers showing, okay, maths though it is going to be very difficult. If you not do it, it will be very difficult. Ab tum kar nahi paoge. It won't be possible for you. So that how we can remove that phobia, sir has created as an expert, we have called him today. And because, technology has come into being after the pandemic. Just because of that, the only positive sign of pandemic was that technology came 10 years before. Although sir was working before the pandemic only on it, but that gear up has been given after the pandemic to this type of things, that it helps the children as well as the teachers also to remove this phobia matter and also create interest among the students. Sir will tell himself. Sir, please let us know how did it came into your mind to start up with when I'm talking to many of the principals and inviting them for this topic, so they are saying, okay, maths, no, Baba, we'll love to come to your show, but maths is a very big thing. It's not my forte. I won't be able to come. So when the principals are saying like this about mathematics, what will happen to the students? So there I'm also convincing them that we are not doing maths questions over there. We're just talking about the problem. We are principals. We have all-rounders. We have to talk about everything. But still, that phobia is amongst the, sorry to say, but it's amongst the principals also. And there are many principals who came also who said that we had that phobia during our school time. We want to come into the show and we want to remove this so that this may not get into our kids also as of now. So, sir, please let us know about how did it came into mind to start this, as well as how it is making maths more easy for the students and the teachers. Sir, over to you.
Sure, sir. Thank you for inviting me again. It's always been a very enlightening, at the same time, a very fun experience coming to your shows. talking to such eminent people with so much experience, it's very, very heartwarming. Uh, I'll tell you, instead of talking about why I started, I want to today share some experience that I had last week. So what we did was, in April, we hosted a competition called Ramanujan Math Scholarship, where we gave out cash scholarships of small amounts to about 500 students. And these were through maths quizzes. So we hosted a maths quiz. As part of that, we also encouraged them to go through a learning process. So we first said that you have to learn, and then from whatever you have learned in maths, the quiz will be on the concepts that you have learned. So that way, that motivation for learning and encouragement for learning is there, because there is a competition and prize at the end of it. And we had several thousand students participating. And last week, I was in some of the schools in Gujarat to commemorate some of the winners. And why I went there is because these schools were in very, very small towns. I went to a town called Valsad. I went to another one called Vapi. These are very close to each other, but they are so small that, if you take a scooter, you can cross the town in about 15 minutes. It's such a small town. And in one of those schools, I found 19 students had won the scholarship, and about 93 students had participated. Now, this was extremely, extremely heartwarming for us, because what we realized is that if we give the right tools and the right encouragement to children, and of course to teachers as well, then there is definitely that interest for the subject will grow, will come. And secondly, that fear will go away. They will not be afraid of the subject, rather, they will start seeing this as something very interesting to do. So as part of that event, what we also did was that even the kind of questions we had, we covered a lot of higher order thinking questions. They were not simply, maths questions, right? Numerical operations. So that way we saw that even the children were very excited about it. So rather than simply saying that I won a prize, they would come to me and say, कि sir, आपने ये question बहुत अच्छा बनाया था. And I think that is really the end result and the goal that we have been after. So instead of talking about why we really built it, I really want to say that the kind of goal that we want to achieve is for these children in every small town to be able to have access to the tool and technology. And secondly, also for the teachers to have the right tools which they can use very effectively to teach math to children. At the same time, they can also use it to build confidence. Now, one of the things which we have also realized during our journey of Counting Well of almost 4 years now is that teaching is done by teachers, and teaching should be done by teachers. Right? जो teacher class में कर सकती है, वो हम नहीं कर सकते. Our job as the technology support for teachers and for students is to build additional confidence in children. So where the teacher is teaching, we add that confidence to the children that yes, we can also do it. Yes, we can also achieve it. So that has been, I would say that a great start to this academic year for us. And that has also been a great milestone in our journey where we are able to see that confidence in the eyes of children. I didn't answer your question, but I hope I made it clear why Counting Well is.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Amazing. You have given a very good example that you have reached over there in the small towns. Ma'am, is it somewhere near your town or not? Touch me, ma'am. Do you know about? Because you're new to that place.
Yes, it's in fact not very near to my place, but yes, it is a part of Gujarat. And frankly speaking, the same story I have seen here once. I have shifted to this place. The town is very small, no doubt, and Aditya Birla is a brand, so everyone in the periphery of this area want their children to study in this school. But yes, one thing I have observed, we have a feel that because I shifted from NCR, a place, Gurgaon, very high profile, all those 5-star type of schools. So no doubt, talent here is abundant. Talent here is galore. You just have to just tap that talent. There is no difference at all. And I tell you, this notion has always, throughout my life, I have carried this notion that places doesn't matter. Background doesn't matter. A child is a child, whatsoever background it belongs to. You just give the environment and the child will bloom. There is no doubt about it. So you take the child up to that horizon, up to that level, and then you see the result. The way sir was saying that they were surprised to know that such a small town, like here, the place where I am, it's also a very small place. But I have seen the school is stuffed with talent. You just tell a thing and you'll see, oh my God, was this possible really? So no doubt, talent kahi, there's no dearth of talent. You just need to give that spark to the child. No doubt. I am fully agreeing to it.
Ashmi ma'am, after so many episodes, this is the 14th episode, I must tell you, this is frankly, I'm telling that this, whatever sir has created, first of all, I must tell you the most important thing is it is free of cost. He is not charging money for that. The best thing is because after pandemic, schools don't have budget to pay and all. I must tell you all that it is a app where my teachers are also using that. My teachers, and I've also taken the feedback from the schools already using it. Sir also doesn't know from whom to whom I have talked about, but it is giving a lot of help to the students, teachers as well as the students. Sir told us a case also that there is a problem with the teachers sometimes also. When you are giving a question to a teacher of grade 6 or grade 6 question, and the teacher is teaching in grade 8, तो बोलता है कि मुझे 8 का आता है, 6 का नहीं आता है. So 8 teacher is not able. Am I right, sir?
Absolutely, sir. And this happened a couple of years back, but this is something which I will always remember, because that struck us. We cannot simply say that we will enable the children or we will empower the children. We have to empower the teachers along with the children. So our goal is not to just, when we started, we said we'll create something where parents will buy and children will learn and all that. But we realized that if we do not make a teacher as part of this whole ecosystem, and if we do not empower them equally, then we will not be effective, and the teacher will also not be effective. So we have to make them effective in such a way कि आगे जाके कोई टीचर ये ना कहे कि ये मुझे नहीं आता इसलिए ये मैं नहीं सिखा सकती, right? At least they can say that ये नहीं आता, let me go back and find out and I will help you fix it.
सर नाउ तो आफ्टर पैंडेमिक स्टूडेंट्स बता देते हैं कि इनको ये नहीं आता, हमको आता है, हमने YouTube पे देख लिया है. So they have become smart. They were not attending the classes. They were saying in the school to the parents, क्यों नहीं पढ़ते हो, वो टीचर का समझ में आता नहीं, हम YouTube चैनल पे देख लेंगे, हमको पता चल जाएगा. So now teachers also have to become smart. And these, thanks to the technology, these tools have come up, which are not only helping to the students, they are helping to the teachers also. I hope your product is, which I've seen that it is not only helping the students, it is helping the parents, the teachers also. The teachers are coming to know about the learning app. We'll talk about further when he'll come up to the later part. I must tell in precise that छोटे पैकेट में बड़ा धमाका टाइप होता है कि maths, full-fledged maths, that they will not be using the app for the long time, 20 minutes system they have. They give exercises of 20 minutes, only after 20 minutes that it will be over. मतलब ज्यादा देर आपको मोबाइल पे भी नहीं बैठना है, आपको लैपटॉप पे भी नहीं बैठना है. Many positive things we'll be discussing further also with sir. Let's come up to the next part of the show. I'll call it as a suggestion round, not a question round. We'll come up to Rashmi ma'am. Rashmi ma'am, according to you, mathematics, we say that mathematics becomes a burden in middle school. According to you, what are the reasons behind it?
Sir, actually, the question which you have asked is an answer in itself, because teaching in maths is nothing different. When a teacher puts his or her heart into the subject, be it maths, be it English, be it Hindi, be it Sanskrit, whatever, the subject becomes easy. So it's equally the same with the subject maths also. But I don't know, unfortunately, there have been very, very few teachers in maths, those who have touched that grade and touched that point. Reason behind, because they also have been groomed into that atmosphere only. The maths teacher which we are hiring these days, or the maths teacher which I have throughout my journey of being a principal and before that as a teacher, there are very few maths teachers, those who, do justice to the subject, and they are, children remember them throughout I remember my maths teacher and, something like that. But what I can say, there are just few points which every maths teacher should relate to. the way we relate other subjects, like I am a language teacher, the way I relate language to the life, the way I relate language to, lessons in life. I think in the same way, maths also has to be related with the different phases of life, different scenarios of life, different problems and solutions of life. I tell you one very simple example. I have just started my career. It was St. Paul School, Darjeeling. I did my B.Ed, and as I finished my B.Ed, I started working there as a teacher. There was a customary exercise which was a part of the routine of that school, and that exercise was they used to give their children 70 rupees a week, and the children used to take those 70 rupees, go to the market nearby. Somebody is eating momo, somebody is buying pen, somebody is buying a handkerchief, or somebody is buying something, socks or whatever. And then later on, they used to come, and this I'm talking about students of primary level, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So they used to go and they used to write all that next day as a homework, that what I did with that 70 rupees and how much was the money left. Fine. So this was, I tell you, wonderful. And since then, I have always applied this thing to my wherever, I was in. So that's what I was saying, that math should be related to, it should be applied to life. What one thing is lacking and really, really lacking. Then second thing, what pandemic has taught us, that maths should be related with, of course, technology. The way sir was saying that, some quizzes are to be conducted, and simplified things, जैसे कि हम sometimes हम language के लिए भी ये बात बोलते हैं कि why language is a, learning English grammar is a panorama box. Because what we do, we teach them grammar, but we don't relate grammar to the life, and we don't give them कि, okay, yes, this is what reality is. This is how it works. I am reading this lesson. I am doing addition. I am doing subtraction. I am doing this. But how can I relate to my everyday life? This is actually what is lacking in maths. And if we are able to solve this very problem, if I'm not wrong, around 70 to 80% of the problem is solved. Then yes, there could be some other things. There could be fixed routines, because initially when you start with, maths become very, very boring. So children should stick to a routine. Then, integration of maths to the other subjects, also very important. We talk a lot about integration of subjects. So how we can integrate maths to other subjects, so it becomes more closer to the life and more closer to reality. Then I would see here hands-on learning. Yes. Again, I will give you the same example. What is hands-on learning in maths? Whatever we are doing, we should know that how can we touch and feel it. This is what is maths. Rest, I think, again, pouring the heart into the maths. Teacher should communicate well with the students, that, if the communication is lacking, a teacher is simply going, okay, take out chapter number 3. Let us do exercise 6.3. And these are the 5 questions. Okay, I'm writing them down on the board, and children, please note them down. No, this should not be the way math should be taught. I think we should start teaching maths by saying that this is where you can use this lesson. This is how this chapter is going to relate to your life. Then only children will connect with it. So that connection is somehow lost. This is what I feel, sir. Rest you can add upon.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Wonderful. The exact things you have told us, which is happening with the mathematics. This was happening during our time also, and now, till now also it is happening. It's a teacher-oriented class where only the teacher is coming up to the class, taking out, like you said, chapter number 3 and question number 6.3 exercise, and this is the first 5 questions I've done on the board. Okay, chapter is over now. You can do it now.
Yes.
How you will do it? That is your headache, for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Yeah, we will come up to Nikita, ma'am. Nikita, ma'am, we will also like to know from you that what are the reasons behind it that maths is becoming a burden in middle school. Ma'am, you're on mute.
Just a moment, just a moment.
So, Nirbhar sir, how you're making it interesting? I mean, the way ma'am has said, Rashmi ma'am has said that the children should be taught with live examples. You
Yeah.
know, what are you using in your app regarding this? How are you making that thing interesting for the students to have interest in that particular subject?
Actually, we are doing multiple things, sir. One, we have started quite a few courses. So we have just launched a course on financial literacy for middle school children. We have another course on mathematical foundations of data science. Now,
Right.
what we do in these courses is that we don't simply teach them what is data science or what is financial literacy. We also show them that the maths which they are learning in middle school, forget high school and all that, right? Only that maths, how it relates to these topics. So, for example, in the data science course, what we did was we created an example where we gave them some data and taught them how to interpret that, analyze that, and make predictions out of that, right? That's the basic funda of data science. But what we said is that this is the data you have, that there is a cricket match which is going to happen between India and Australia. And cricket bolte hi bache to, they are excited. So we created that cricket match example. But what we did was we said that, let's say that out of 10 matches, India wins 7 matches and Australia wins 3 matches. This has been the statistics for this particular pitch. Now, what do you expect, or what would you predict would be the possible outcome of this match, right? So there you use a little bit of knowledge of probability. Then we said it's going to rain, or we didn't even say it's going to rain. We said we started giving some additional data. So we said that this is the temperature, this is the humidity, and if the temperature reaches this or the humidity reaches this, it is likely to rain. So what would happen if the temperature reached this to the outcome of this match? And then we gave additional data that when it rains, the statistics change, that India wins only so many matches, whereas Australia wins so many more matches. So now you start seeing data in a very different light. You start applying the knowledge of probability. You start applying the knowledge of statistics, data handling. यही सब सीखते हैं वो लोग 6, 7, 8 में. लेकिन उनको ये समझ में नहीं आता है कि वो frequency tables बना रहे हैं, bar charts बना रहे हैं, उसका क्या use हो रहा है. But we start showing it in this way, then they start realizing that all this data that is in front of them when they watch a cricket match or they look at COVID numbers and all that, it's the same data handling knowledge which should be used in this, and they use it very effectively. Right here, I don't even need a teacher's intervention. Without any teacher, on their own, they are able to figure out the answers.
So because of this, they are able to correlate. Actually, they are able to correlate. If correlation is not there, they won't be able to do anything.
Yes. And after doing all that, then we say ki dekho, you use probability, right? We don't first say that use probability, because then you start making it dry for them. You say, "Arey, isme to maths aa gaya." But first you say, "Ye aapne kar diya, dekho isme maths tha."
That's great, sir. That's great. Nikita ma'am, over to you.
Yes, thank you, sir. Sorry for that hitch over there.
That's okay, ma'am.
I really feel, the teacher should be empowered with right kind of technique and skills. Yes, now the era is divided into pre-COVID and post-COVID. Earlier it was AC, BC, but now we talk about pre-COVID times and post-COVID times. Pre-COVID times, as we taught, as we studied, that all was going on. Like classroom teaching with the chalk and board, correct? And as ma'am expressed that, open the book 6.3 and we will do this. And this is how it was done. But the COVID changed everything. We had to come to online. We had to really work on how students are studying. How can we make learning little fun? Learning by doing things. Experiential learning. Yes, it was earlier. As ma'am said, there are very few teachers who really puts their heart and soul, and that reaches to the students. How do they make that? How do they make that difference in that 40 minutes of classroom teaching? I'll give you one example. Ma'am gave an example of 70 rupees. I myself am a maths and science teacher. I did my B.Ed in maths and science. So the middle school, 6th, 7th and 8th, when we teach them percentage, cost price, loss, profit, how do we teach them? By experiential learning. We can tell the child to get some 50 rupees. We can take them to bank And we can very well show them, see, this is 50 rupees and how much you are paying. What is the profit you are getting? Suppose if you buy something and you sell something. So what, if you buy something in 10 rupees and you sell it in 15 rupees, what is the profit you are making? And if you really do so, the children will develop interest into the subject. It is all the matter of curiosity. You have to develop that curiosity. Like sir, you know how he said that match. It's an example. You tell the child to solve a puzzle. He will be so much interested to solve a puzzle. अरे ये करके ये कहाँ से आया? तो puzzle की तरह करना है. हमने उनको डेटा दिया, हमने उनको बताया इसका ये प्रॉब्लम है और ये प्रॉब्लम का सोल्यूशन कैसे. We need to make that math subject easy. We need to instill that confidence in that child. We need to tell that child that every problem in life has a solution. And we need to relate it to our daily life. See, maths is, if I talk about relating it to life, sir, I will say that, you know, हर एक challenges हमको बोल के नहीं आती है. कोविड आया, किसी को पता था क्या करना है? तो ये प्रॉब्लम था, इसका सॉल्यूशन हमने ढूंढा. मैथ्स इज व्हाट? मैथ्स इज फाइंडिंग सॉल्यूशन. लाइक LHS इक्वल टू RHS, लेफ्ट हैंड साइड इक्वल टू राइट हैंड साइड. एंड उसी गेम को हमें आगे बढ़ाना है. वो पजल में बढ़ाओ या क्विज करके करो.
Ma'am, mathematics is needed everywhere. We say that even a housewife or a mother is cooking food and she's putting on, she's cooking something. तो कितना पानी डालना है दाल में, कितनी दाल डालनी है, how much salt has to put. That also has a ratio. That also has a ratio.
Exactly. Algebra पढ़ा रहे हो, indices पढ़ा रहे हो, आपको गलत तरीके से पढ़ाना. Yes sir.
Yeah, Nikita ma'am, actually the problem is that the teachers are only based on formula. Like we were talking earlier sessions also, that some question comes to the child knows a plus b whole square is equal to a square plus b square plus 2ab. But why this formula has been put, how this formula has been derived?
Exactly.
At the very same time, when a vendor is coming to your lane and if you're buying vegetables from him, 1 kilo ये दे दो, आधा किलो ये 250 ग्राम ये दे दो, 100 ग्राम धनिया दे दो, and all. Within few seconds, illiterate person within few seconds will tell you how much you have to pay, because he's having a being illiterate even, he's having a practical approach. This approach does, like sir was saying, Nirmal sir was saying, they were told about the matches and this was the ratio, this had happened. Agar it rains, so what will happen? This will be the ratio. Exactly. So they took out the answer and afterwards they came to know, yeah, we were using the mathematics over. So when you're putting mathematics first, formulas first, then you're solving it, that is a big problem for the kids. So what do you say about this, Nirmal sir?
I agree, sir. That is true. I mean, once we see, it is about whether we first make it interesting and then show them the seriousness behind it, or we make it very serious and then say कि इसमें देखो कुछ interesting भी है. You are actually creating that wall, right? And that is what we should not be doing. We should first create that interest, let them feel two things. One is, I think, that interest, and second is we should always create the confidence that yes, I can do, right? So even when we get them to solve problems, we always say that first identify what is their level, let them solve that, and then move forward. The more confidence that they have in being able to do at that level, they will always feel that yes, I can rise to the next level. So if we are able to keep them confident and keep them interested, तो पढ़ाई तो अपने आप हो ही जाएगी.
बिल्कुल हो जाएगी. So it is better, according to you, sir, that we should make it interesting. Then we should tell the funda behind this is this. That when you're using this formula, you're driving it, and this is correlating to that particular example. So that clicks into the mind. जैसे बोलते हैं ना कि क्या दिख रहा है अर्जुन को, सिर्फ उसकी चिड़िया की आंख दिख रही थी. That will hit into the mind of the child that this is the funda. Because whenever I had been a commerce teacher, accountancy teacher, because after grade 10th you have all of a sudden you have accountancy. So there's also phobia among the students, sir. How is the subject? It is very difficult. I used to say them all the time that this is the easiest subject on the earth. Only the thing is that I say that maths and accountancy are the easiest subject. For every question, you have different answer for all the other subjects. But for mathematics and accountancy, there are certain fundas. You should be clear about that, their flexibility. All the questions of the world of that particular chapter will revolve around that fundas only. So which is more easy. Your other subjects, science and social studies or something like business studies or economics, or this is easy. So this is the easiest one. There you are making it more relaxed. Of. Thank you so much, Nirmal sir. We'll come
Adding
up
to
to
it,
Dimple
Chandok
ma'am.
sir. Ek minute,
Sure.
adding to it, Chandok sir, we can add geography, longitude, latitude into it. So art integration also makes interesting, and we need to develop curiosity among the children. So you give them puzzle, they will definitely do it. But if you teach them as per the formulas, rote learning, they will not do it. So developing interest and developing curiosity.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, Nikita, and there is also one more thing, that when the students are not able to understand in the class, or they have missed the class, it is happening that when they are coming up to this app at their time when they want it, in evening time or late night, they can open up the app and they can study from the app one to one. Because during the school, there's among the students also, we will not ask the question in the class because sab hamara mazak udaenge. Everybody will make fun of me. This also happens. So these type of apps, what they do is, when the child, the learning app is happening, when he's going at home, he's doing that questions along with the app one to one at night, 8 o'clock or 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. So he can understand that things. He can, at the very same time, I think I said, I'm taking your words, the teacher will also get the report of that. It happens. I've checked this, that the teacher will also get the report that what are the learning gaps among the students. Teacher always say that I have a 40 minutes period, I have 40 students in the class. मैं सबको एक साथ कैसे देख सकता हूँ? I have to syllabus also. So there, with these type of apps, for the one teacher becomes 40 teachers. This app becomes a 40 teachers, and the child learns back and comes back again with the same knowledge, and the whole class is the topper. Not only the 2-3 are toppers inside the class. Thank you. We'll come up to Dimple ma'am. Dimple ma'am, we want to know your views that on the saying that mathematics is not only about numbers, it is also about understanding.
Thank you, sir. And I think this question reminds me about William Thurston. He's an American, a famous American mathematician, who said that maths is not just about learning, but basically it is about understanding. And sir, I would like to share my personal anecdote with you, that while I was a student, much before middle school, I had a maths phobia. Otherwise, I was a very brilliant student. I used to come second in my class. I could never top my class just because I could never score good marks in maths. So that was the time when unwittingly, the teachers and the elders used to say that children like ye to kar hi nahi payegi maths. And of course, there were gender biases, that boys can do maths better than girls. And there was a time when maths was considered as an abstract subject. But if I compare with the present time, that there is a paradigm shift, we are into a new normal, and we are into a stage where whatever we were taught in our classrooms of our times is exactly different from what we are currently teaching. And I would like to share my experience as a headmistress with middle school graders at Alcon International School a few years ago, because I feel middle school is the best stage where you can build capacity building with the children and teachers. You can have competency building through research and innovation. So what I did was that I had picked up 2-3 pedagogical tools and tricks to develop better understanding of maths. And the first pedagogical trick was to do interdisciplinary projects in the classrooms. And I would like to quote here an example of class 6. There's a chapter, components of food, in science. So we used to do it in science in the month of April. In SST class 6, again, we used to do the chapter agriculture at the same time. And data handling, as sir rightly said, we used to pick from maths. Nature, any poem of Wordsworth, we used to pick from English. And Paryavaran, we used to pick from Hindi. So what we used to do, that there was an intertwining of the subjects. There were transdisciplinary approaches. And then, say, for example, in science, the children used to research about go, grow, and glow products, say, for example, carbohydrates, proteins, fats. Then in SST, they used to, research about the demographic conditions, the type of crops, the type of soil. And based upon the information they had gathered about in science and SST, they used to have data handling in maths. So in other words, what I mean to say that we used to employ the 4 C's of success. The children used to collaborate. They used to work as a peer learning projects. They used to effectively critically think, and then they used to solve the problems. Another, pedagogical tool what we used was flexible assessments. Say, in normal classrooms, we have a one size fits all concept. All the teachers, will have 30 children in the class, and they will employ the same kind of assessment tool on all the 30 children. But what we did in class 8, suppose the chapter was percentage in maths. So as per the preferred learning style of the children in the classroom, the teacher used to administer a percentage as a subject enrichment activity. The children who were good with PowerPoint presentation, they used to show their assessment in the form of PPT. The children who were good at oratory, they used to do a TED talk. The children who were good at art and craft, they used to prepare a collage. The children who were good at research, they used to present a project report. So this kind of learning, but in the other words, understanding of math, we made it possible. And the schools these days are working upon sustainable development goals. So if you're talking and teaching about the concept of climate change, if you're talking about the concept of sustainable cities and communities, you can involve algebra and maths in it. And algebra can easily explain how quickly the water becomes contaminated and how many people drinking that water might become sickened on a yearly basis. A study of geometry can explain the science behind architecture throughout the world. Statistics and probability can estimate death tolls. So what I mean to say that the world is interconnected. Every day the math shows these connections and possibilities. The earlier the young learners can put these skills into practice, the more likely, as teachers, we can create an innovative society which can thereby contribute to the economy of our nations and therefore help us in becoming the global citizenship. Thank you so much.
Amazing, ma'am. Amazing. A wonderful concept you have told us. And this is the best thing, although a lot of work has to be done, coordination has to be done among the subjects. But that is a wonderful thing that this thing should be done. We will surely try to apply in our schools also, ma'am. Thank you to you.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, ma'am. We'll come up to Manisha, ma'am. Manisha, ma'am, we want to know your views on the saying that how does technology helps in making maths more interesting and easy?
Yeah, I think, it goes without saying, we have seen through pandemic that technology has actually, it has helped us to deal with those concepts which are very difficult to teach otherwise in the conventional manner in classrooms. So at our school, we used these 2 years to have lots of workshops. We identified certain topics in middle school maths, like area and perimeter. Then there was LCM, HCF, fractions, where children generally were not able to understand the concept. Either they would mug up the thing and do the sums, or they would struggle with it. So what we did was we did a lot of workshops in because it was all online, and we did a lot of hands-on activities with children, and we made them understand the concept. So that was what we did during pandemic. We used a lot of tools to teach, like GeoGebra, Desmos. All these tools were used by teachers to teach and clarify the concepts. Other thing that most of the principals have talked about is differentiated instruction and differentiated assessment. Like one assessment is not, you cannot cater with one assessment to every child in the class. So what we use the apps, to have differentiated assessment. Now, what I have realized over the years is, and with many also, that what the phobia is created by marks. Phobia is not created by the topics, it is created by the marks. After fifth, suddenly when the concepts become more challenging, they become a little abstract, the child starts losing marks in assessment, and that is when the child withdraws from maths. So when you have differentiated assessments, that child gets, the level appropriate assessment, and the score is immediate. So the apps give the score immediately. The child doesn't have to wait for the teacher to correct the assessment and tell how he has scored and what are the mistakes. So that immediate assessment and the scores that happen, I think that is what benefits the child a lot. And the other thing is, as previous speakers have already said, you can connect them to the real world. Like when you're teaching trigonometry, and you can connect them to a playground designer or to an architect, so this boundaries are not there anymore. You can connect them to anybody across the world, and they can get a real life experience or a one-on-one experience with that person. Visualization is very important. There are certain concepts in maths that where you are not, if you are able to visualize maths concepts, maths is not difficult. So this technology helps us to deal with those concepts, helps them to children to get a platform where they can interact and with these maths concepts. So I think technology has really brought in a lot of change in the way teachers have to teach. As far as teachers are concerned, it is the responsibility of the school management and principal to see that their skills are upgraded. We cannot blame the teacher always. We have to, show them the path, give them the time, give them the resources to upgrade and hone their skills. And I think then there is no stopping, there's no looking back.
That's great, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. We'll come up to Nirmal sir. So Nirmal sir, as ma'am Nikita ma'am was, Manisha ma'am was just saying that upgradation of the teachers should be there. So how is this app upgrading the teachers also as well as the students also, and how it is helping the teachers to teach more correctly to the students? Sir, you're on mute.
Sorry. So Manisha ma'am was very right, and I think even Dimple ma'am brought this up, that one is that teachers have to be upgraded. At the same time, they have to be empowered. Now, there are two aspects to this. One is that when we say upgrade and empower, what are we empowering them with, right? One is, of course, knowledge, that we put them through training, we put them through new ways of teaching, we teach them how to teach better, how to teach different. The second, which is where technology plays a very important role, is that we can give them a lot of powerful data. Okay. Now, data is, as we know, it's very, very important. Data plays an extremely important role because it validates our hypothesis. It validates what we might just assume. So it can correct our assumptions. It can either solidify or dispel our assumptions as well, right? Touching upon what Dimple ma'am said, that's the other aspect of it, that based on that, are we able to create that kind of differentiated learning or differentiated assessments for children? So what we determined was that over the course of developing the whole Countingwell app and the content, what we found is that when it comes to maths specifically, right now, we all know that we say that maths is about understanding, maths is really a skill and not a subject and so on. But then if it is that, then what actually goes into being able to do maths, so to speak, right? What is that? So one, of course, you need to know concepts, which is fine, which is what is taught in the classroom, which is what is already there in the textbook. The second is that we feel that there are a set of skills which are required in order to be able to understand and solve math problems. So what we did was we did some assessments, and based on that, we broke up that whole problem solving process into multiple skills. So we said that first you need to have something called comprehension skill. And what we also realize is that language is the biggest barrier to mathematics, especially in India. Okay. In fact, just today, I put a post on LinkedIn where I said that 125 equal to 175 equal to 11,11,101. Right? It's the same set of digits. How is it equal? Simply by changing the base. If it is base 10, it is 125. If it is base 8, it is 175. If it is binary or base 2, It is a different, but it's the same value. Now, do the children understand the difference between value and number? Okay. Where it all comes down to is that ability to comprehend. Do they understand that what is given to you, do they have the ability to even understand that? So that language comprehension is a very important aspect of mathematics itself. The second thing, what we found is that the ability to model a solution. So what typically happens is children simply jump into solving a problem. You give them a very long word problem, and within a minute, they will start trying to solve the problem instead of spending time thinking about the problem. And pandemic mein to ye aur bhi ho gaya hai. Because what is happening is, one, they are seeing multiple choice questions. So for them, it is just eliminating the wrong answers and probably getting the right answer correct. And the second is that there is a clock ticking, so they just want to move quickly. But what they have to do is, one, understand the question. Second, model a solution, which means that they have to know which mix of various concepts has to be applied to solving the problem. And in the process of doing that, they have to use the knowledge of all the concepts and then finally use the number operations. So number operations actually comes almost at the very end of solving the problem, not at the beginning. But kids try to do it right at the beginning. So what we did was we created this whole kind of formative assessment where we determined that is the child lacking in concepts, or is the child lacking in any one of these skills, or a mix of both. And also, is the child lacking in some previous knowledge which they should have learned from an earlier class, and they don't know that, and that is actually building up to their misconceptions in the current class, because that also happens very, very often, right? So based on that, now we create a lot of data, and we say that here is this huge amount of data which is very useful to the teacher. So my whole story is coming back to the question which Chandok sir asked, how does it empower the teacher, right? Because now we have the data about the skill gap of the child, about the conceptual gap of the child, and the lack of previous knowledge of the child. Now, if we are able to show this mirror to the teacher, कि आपकी क्लास में ये बच्चा जो है वो बुद्धू नहीं है, इसको ये नहीं आता because of this, then the teacher knows how to solve the problem. Right now, the teacher is only using anecdotal information. She thinks that the child does not know this. And most of the time, the children who do not know anything are the quietest children in the classroom. Or they are the noisiest, but they don't ask maths questions, right? They do other things. So they are the ones who need the attention. How do we get that data? So now what we have done is we have created a homework platform where the teacher would say that within a chapter, these are the 2 concepts I have taught today. Let's give it as a homework. The child would go home, do it as a homework on the app. They are solving problems. But what we are doing is we are capturing the data behind the scenes about all these misconceptions. The child does not even know any of that. For them, it is just select the answer, drag and drop, do whatever, and we give the report back to teacher. We do the first level intervention for the child as well. So we show them why they got something right or why they got something wrong. At the same time, the teacher is getting to see what is going on, what are these learning gaps and misconceptions that the child has, right down to the smallest learning objective. And based on that, now they can do their lesson planning, they can do their remedial planning, and they can also see what is the state of the whole classroom, how it is progressing, right? It's very powerful for the administration. It's also very powerful for the teachers. So that's where that whole teacher empowerment happens.
That's great, sir. That teachers are able to understand where is the learning gap amongst the students, what is not able to understand. And according to that, the remedial classes can be planned for them. Thank you so much, sir. We'll come up to the next round. Because we're in shortage of time, please a 1 minute answer, 60-second answer we'll be needing. Rashmi ma'am, are you there? Okay, we'll come
yes,
up
sir,
to...
I'm there, sir.
Yeah, ma'am, please, although you have already suggested, please suggest few ways in which our teacher can make maths more interesting.
Sir, I think all the points which could probably be hovering around this complete issue have already been discussed in your show. All the principals have very, very rightly put it across. And I'm really thankful to that what have been going into my mind have eventually been covered by all the principals. Yes, we need to put our heart into the subject. Yes, we need to relate it to the real life. We need to integrate the subject. We need to make it real. So if this much is done, sir, I don't think there is anything left. Fine. But yes, ultimately, what is required to be done is to empower the teachers to do this, what we actually want. So teachers' empowerment is a must. and then eventually the whole gaps will be resolved. That is what only I have to say here.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Nikita, ma'am, please your views and how can we
Yes,
make maths more interesting?
I feel that we should be more focusing on integration. Definitely, as ma'am said, we should be more into problem solving and we should make it more interesting, like gamification, because they love games. Nowadays, children, you don't have to teach them how to use a mobile. Is that so? How do we teach them to use a mobile? We don't have to even put our brains into it. Similarly, we have to make maths easy. Gamification can be done, puzzles can be done, quizzes can be put in, interesting it can be done. You can put your heart and soul, you can empower the teacher. These are all the methods, and sir is really very helpful. Back to you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Nirmal sir, do you have these type of things in your app, gamification and all, the puzzles and all?
Absolutely, sir. Gamification is a very integral part. In fact, most of the apps you would see that, right? Because it can be done. One, technologically, it's very easily possible. And second, that is a great motivator for children. So we have contests, we have games, we have events. All of these things keep motivating the children. The second thing, which, on that, again, topic of the differentiated learning, one of the other things that we do is that when we identify that the child has certain misconceptions or the child is only at a certain level, then we also give the questions and learning at that level rather than putting everybody at the same equal bar, right? Because that's where the problems start, because everybody is not at that same level. So when we do that, then the way gamification acts also here is that you are, let's say, at a level 1 and we have level 1 to 5, and we identify that the child is only a one level child based on whatever skills they have or they don't have. Then when they solve a problem there and we show them that, hey, you have solved this problem, then they get encouraged, they get excited, they get confident, and then we take them to the next level. So gamification can act in multiple ways, right? We can simply say that you've earned a coin and you've got some gold and diamonds and all that. But also what we do here is that we say that let's start at their level. Let's not take the child to our level. Let's start at the child's level. And then using gamification, we will keep giving them that bit of encouragement that here is a little challenge for you at your level. Beat that, go up. Beat that, go up. And that gamification then keeps giving that child that kind of encouragement. He says, hey, you moved up one level. Now you moved up next level and so on. So by doing that, we are able to, one, meet that level of the child, right? So that differentiated learning and differentiated assessment plays a very important role. At the same time, the gamification then keeps encouraging the child to move forward.
So this is also very good students, because these last 2 years they haven't studied at all. With the mathematics, same thing. So the gamification also might be you're removing or bridging up the learning gap also. Because the child is in grade 8, he has not studied maths in 6th and 7th. So you told us, please tell how it is removing the gap.
So then we identified, right, that if let's say we have a grade 8 concept and we know that the child is not answering that right, it could be due to multiple reasons. Either they don't have a specific skill, like they don't have comprehension skill or modeling skill, or they don't know that concept. Now, if they do not know that concept, then we check whether they know a related concept from the previous grade, because did the misconception start from the earlier grade, right? So is there a 7th grade concept which they should have known? If they don't know that as well, then we go back one more and we say, is there a 6th grade concept they don't?
Okay.
Right. So
that is a very good thing, sir. That is a very good thing, क्योंकि 6th 7th में जो बच्चा नहीं पढ़ा and coming up to 8th, अगर वो 8th नहीं कर पा रहा है, कैसे नहीं कर पाएगा? क्योंकि same concept को 6th 7th में नहीं कर पाया.
Exactly.
So if he is not able to do grade 8, you are giving him an of 7th.
Yes.
If he is not able to do of 7th, you give him 6th. Then 6th में recover करके उसको आप 7th में लाते हो, then coming up to 8th. That learning gap. Yes, ma'am.
Nirmal sir, I have a question to you. You said, the problem can be comprehension, problem can be language skills. So what is the solution to that? I mean, if the teacher starts solving that problem, suppose a child has come from a background, well, English is a challenge. Right. So what is the solution that your app provides for that?
So what we do, ma'am, is that the way we do it is 2 ways. One is that first we help them in their thought process itself. Right. So what we've realized is that one is language skill. The second is just the ability to pause and think. Right. Or I would not even say ability, right? Just the willingness to pause and think. The child does not want to do that. So what we do is, for example, when we ask a question which is that comprehension level question, then we break it down into multiple steps. And as an example, I'll tell you one example we have is that we show a picture of a dolphin, and we say that dolphin is swimming, uh, let's say X meters from the sea level, from the ground level of the sea, and the sea level is so many meters from the ground. How much time will the dolphin take to surface? Now, the first question is that they have to understand, what do we mean by saying dolphin surfacing, right? So we don't ask them to straight away calculate distance. We don't ask them to calculate speed. We don't ask them to calculate time. We first ask them, what are you supposed to find out? Is the dolphin swimming up or swimming down? Simple.
Okay.
So there you are straight away asking them to think about that surface. Is the surface on top or below? And are you going up or down, right? So that thinking starts building there. Then we ask them to model the solution and say that, okay, now if you feel that the dolphin is going up, then are you going to calculate the distance from bottom to up or up to down, or which way you're going to do that, right? So that's how we bring that comprehension aspect into maths problem solving.
So is the question in audio form also? Like a child
No.
wants to hear the question
No, it's
in case
in
he's
text form.
unable to read.
It is in text form only. As of now, it is only in text form. We do plan to introduce some video questions because we feel that that kind of video interpretation is also valuable for the child. At this time, we don't have it, but we will be doing that as well.
Because I just feel a question that a child can hear. Sometimes the child can understand, when they hear a question, they may not be able to read it.
But all the topics cannot be in the audio form. In mathematics, it is not possible. All the other subject, it is possible. But 7x plus 4y is equal to, something that cannot be put up in audio form.
No, actually, she has a point. I mean, maybe there are some mental maths questions that we can come up with, right? Which can be in audio form, or it could be audio visual kind of questions. So
yeah, because when we are testing math skills of a child, we are not testing the reading and listening skills and speaking skills. We are just testing the math skills.
Correct.
So then audio is not a problem. You can introduce an audio there.
Yes, I mean, it's something we can definitely do. See, one of the things we consciously avoided too much of video content in our app as well. Instead of doing that, what we did was we made it more interactive. So even though there's a lot of text, we don't simply put all the text out there for the child to read. Instead of that, we ask them a question. So simple thing is, we show them a samosa and say, what shape do you see here? Right? And then we show them triangle, square, rectangle, whatever it is. And then they pick that. So basically, we let them move forward only after they give an answer, and then we reinforce if it is correct or correct them if it is wrong. But what happens is that now it becomes more participative and interactive. If we do a lot of video and audio, what we have seen is that the child is listening, but they're kind of in a trance. After a few moments, you feel that they're listening, but they're not. They're just lost.
They get confused, actually. It becomes complicated for them.
They're distracted, they're thinking something else, or yahan samne kuch aur chal raha hai. So instead of that, if we ask them a question and say that you cannot move forward till you answer, then they have to answer.
Right. Thank you so much, sir. We'll come up to Dimple, ma'am. It's a very interesting topic which we can talk throughout the day, but we are in shortage of time. Dimple, ma'am, it is often seen that children try to learn mathematics instead of understanding it. What are your suggestions to the teachers and how should they teach? In 60 seconds, ma'am, please, your answer. You're on mute, ma'am.
Sir, before I pertinently answer to your question, let us first understand that who is an effective teacher. So shall we call a person only a subject matter expert as an effective teacher, or one who is capable of helping the students to improve their learning? Even a teacher with high academic profile may not be able to communicate effectively with students in a way that they can comprehend what they are made to learn. So what more is required for becoming a true teacher is that we are capable of knowing our students. And for this, we at Jaipuria, what we are doing some benchmark testing, or in other words, we call it as baseline assessments in the beginning of the session to understand, to measure the verbal ability, the quantitative reasoning, the logical reasoning, of the children. And then based upon that, we tap the potential of each and every child, and therefore we plan our remediations accordingly. And therefore by so this we do in the month of April. And then the entire session the teachers administer the way everybody has talked about, with the help of active learning, inquiry based learning, visualization exercises, gamification. And then towards the end of January, we do an end line assessment, again looking into the fact that what is the learning progression with regard to the performance of each and every child. So talking about the suggestions for the teachers, I would like to, throw some light upon, two type of teachers. It's a very interesting example. I would like to quote that there is a teacher A, with the surname Mr. Bhatia. He teaches mathematics at secondary school level. He starts taking the class with checking of homework, which usually takes 2 to 3 minutes only. Look at the amount of hard work he's doing. In 2 to 3 minutes he's checking the homework. He checks the work of students who completed it and gives some punishment to those who did not complete it. After this, he starts the new topic by saying that today we are going to learn about the arithmetical progression. He wrote the formula on the board, and then he asked his students to copy it, and then it is followed by another problem which he tells the children to solve it. And then Mr. Bhatia asks the students to independently solve it, and he does this for half an hour, and then he ends the class after providing homework from the textbook. Another teacher is Mr. Kaul, who is also teaching mathematics at secondary level, but he has a different pedagogical approach. He started his teaching with the discussion of homework with the students one by one, and he asking students to explain how they did the homework, what were the answers. Then he started the class with the discussion that what they learned in the earlier class. So he tested the previous knowledge of the students. He facilitated some group discussions, and this is how Mr. Call, he ended his class with the kind of inquiry driven classroom. So I think there is a clear distinction between the two type of teachers. One teacher is a pedagogical teacher in which he has employed different techniques in the classroom, generating collaborative learning, whereas others is a teacher who promotes rote learning. So I think our suggestions for the teachers is that all the children must learn mathematics, which in which they feel intrinsically motivated. We should have certain mathematical club activities. I think we are in the age where we are talking more about Maslow now. I think before Bloom, we are talking more about Maslow, that we have to put love before lessons and we have to put grace before grades. So pandemic has taught this very beautifully. So as a whole, I would suggest the teachers to be more based upon real life implications, experiential learning, in which we generate interest for the subject, because otherwise children will keep having phobia and fear towards the subject of mathematics. Thank you, sir.
Right, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Very appropriate example you have given about the teacher, the two types of teacher. Of course, the second one was much better, who was creating a child-oriented class in one sentence, we can say, for sure. Thank you so much, ma'am. We'll come up to Manisha, ma'am. Manisha, ma'am, we would like to know your comments on the saying that the post-pandemic children have become smart. Does teacher have to become more smarter with the use of technology?
Well, I would like to say not only post-pandemic, always students smart, teachers smarter. It has to be like that, And what I would say is teachers don't need to compete with their students for technology. Let the students know the technology. What teachers need to do well is to have designed their lessons in such a manner that they are interactive, they are effective, and at the same time, they are challenging. Students love to be challenged. So if that the teacher can do, then she doesn't have to compete with children for technology. Technology, obviously, I mean, as I've said, honing their skills, empowering them, giving them the resources, introducing them to resources, everything is fine. But when it comes to teacher, I think it is more how the person, as Rashmi ma'am has been saying, put heart and soul into the lesson, makes it challenging, makes it interesting. So that's what I would like to say.
Absolutely right, ma'am, because we had to change according to the students, the present era. Whatever they feel like we were saying earlier also that they don't want to read the books, they don't want to shuffle their books. Instead, they want to go into the gadgets and do over there. Whichever they, type of learning they need, the learning should happen. That should not stop. And we know it very well that the way that technology is coming into being after a few years, maybe after 5 to 7 years, there'll be no books inside the classes. Only the tablets or the laptops devices will be used for the learning part. So whatever way the technology or the society needs, that way the student should be taught for sure. And we were not having these type of apps in our time. There was so simplicity, but at the very same time, the pros and cons are there. These type of apps which have come over, they have helped a lot to the students. So coming up to Nirmal sir, how are these type of apps helping the students? Because the main complaint of the parents is that too much of gadgets are being used by the kids. How are you controlling that with your 20 minutes concept, and how it is very useful to the students?
Sure, sir. So that's a very pertinent problem that parents, teachers, even children have, right? It's a children's problem too. That one is excess gadget time. The second is also limited attention span of the children, and we have to meet both of that. So what we did was we broke up every chapter into, on an average, about 15 to 20 learning outcomes, and each learning outcome then has what we call as a micro learning content. So it has learning content which can be completed in about 5 to 7 minutes. So by doing that, now what we are able to do is that we say that every child can do 3 to 4 learning outcomes in a span of 20 minutes. And that is enough for today, right? In one day, don't spend more than 20 minutes. In those 20 minutes, you will achieve 3 to 4 learning outcomes. That's enough for you, for your attention span. And as it is, you are going to school, you're doing other things, and there's no need to spend more time than is necessary. Even at that rate, we are able to match the pace at which what is being taught in the classroom. So it's not that you will miss out or you will be way behind, right? At that rate, we are also able to do that differentiated instruction for the child. So depending on what level the child is, they get personalized learning. So even that learning plan they get is very specific to their level of knowledge, their level of skill, and what are their learning gaps. So what we are able to achieve is that minimum gadget time, meet their attention span, at the same time achieve enough learning so that they feel that yes, today I have done something and tomorrow I will do something more and something new.
That is for sure, sir. And thank you so much, sir. And I had been also seeing that we are able to control up with the, deal up with the parents. We are able to deal up with the kids. We are able to deal up with the management and the government and everything. But always we lack will come up to the teachers. So many things are happening amongst the teachers. Always you have to bother about that. So when a system comes into being, like we put up these type of apps into the system, which sir is already providing free of cost. So when these type of apps will be there, or that it will be a mechanism type of thing where we'll be able to check the students' progress. Because we are running towards, yesterday somebody was talking to me, how can we improve the result of grade 10th and 12th? We cannot improve the result of grade 10th and 12th when we will not take it from the middle or the lower level. We have to check it from the lower level onwards. हम वहीं ध्यान देते नीचे देते ही नहीं, तो हमको शुरू से ध्यान देना पड़ेगा. From there we have to. Here what happens is when these type of technological tools are over there, which comes into the mechanism of the school, it happens gradually. वो अपने आप रिजल्ट आता जाएगा. टीचर आपसे छुपा नहीं पाएगा कि इसकी क्या प्रॉब्लम है, और आपको पता था जब इन बच्चों की सारी प्रॉब्लम थी आपने क्यों नहीं सॉल्व करी. तो there he will be held responsible for that. राइट मैम.
स्ट्रॉन्ग चाहिए. नींव अगर स्ट्रॉन्ग हो ना,
बिल्कुल
बिल्डिंग बहुत अच्छे से
बिल्कुल. तो दीज टेक्नोलॉजीज व्हाट दे आर हेल्पिंग. बिल्कुल मैम. और ये और ये टेक्नोलॉजीज जो है वो हेल्प करती है कि it comes into mechanism. You don't have to check it again and again. I have seen many times a problem when you are putting something into the process. If for some time it is working, after some time you see that is not working. फिर से टीचर दुनिया घूम के वही खड़े हो जाते हैं. When it comes into mechanism that these types of apps are over there, and of course when we are getting free of cost, तो वो क्या है कि they cannot escape from that. You have that. What is the result? We want the result because you are knowing where the child is lacking. किस बच्चे को किस टॉपिक में प्रॉब्लम है वो आपको इससे सब कुछ पता चल सकता है. The child can also grow with that. So that these type of things are very good. I have started because there are many students in my school who are the first generation learners. They are getting awesome results out of that. They're getting awesome help from that. Teacher is also not able to escape from there that हमने कराया था हुआ नहीं ये हुआ वो. No excuses are over there because you know everything. The progress when he is sitting at his home at 10 o'clock at night and solving his assessment. All of us आपके पास उसका रिपोर्ट आता है कि उसका कहाँ पे क्या प्रॉब्लम है. So there you are able to understand about each and every child that where he is lacking. So these type of things are very important. And as Dimple ma'am was also saying, they have a very good method of checking the students. Here you can check it every day. Weekly you can check it, every day you can check it. Yes sir, you want to say anything?
Yeah. So one thing which we learned the very hard way is that when we created the whole platform for teachers, teachers would come and say, "Acha, to we will have to come and check the report every day," right? So, and that feels like additional work. So what we tell them is that, look, you don't have to create the homework. We are creating the questions. You don't have to create the check the solutions. We are doing the auto correction. So you are only seeing the report. And even then it felt like work. So now what we have done is we have done a whole WhatsApp integration. So अब ये होता है कि teacher will get a message on WhatsApp that your homework has been completed by so many students. Do you want to assign the next homework? You just tap assign on WhatsApp. One small box will open. There are just 4 fields. Pick the chapter, pick the concept, pick the due date, say assign homework, चला गया. तो अब आपको कंप्यूटर पे बैठ के आधा घंटा लगा के अपना लॉगिन करके देखना कुछ नहीं. Next thing we are doing is we are going to integrate the results in WhatsApp as well. So now teacher will, within a few weeks, they will start seeing the report in WhatsApp. Nobody can say that I don't have time to log in, because you don't have to log in. We will give you everything, right? So all you have to do is focus on your teaching, look at the data, and based on that, you just make your teaching plans. All you have to do is while you're sitting in the bus, while you're sitting in the auto rickshaw or your car or whatever, just scroll through WhatsApp, you've got everything. So the idea is that, the hurdles which teachers have, and we understand that, right? कि उनके पास already इतना काम है, घर जाके और काम होता है, they have to take care of their own children as well, so many other things, right? So why do we create that hurdle for them? Instead of that, can we make life easier for them from the administrative perspective and keep letting them focus on the teaching aspect? So that's how we are building this side of it, where technology is playing a very, very another important role, right? And technology like WhatsApp. So this is not like artificial intelligence, this, that, kuch nahi. Simple WhatsApp, but it is very, very effective.
That's great, sir. Amazing app you have created because I've been seeing in the schools. I am also using it. And these competitions also you have still going on, I think. Ramanujan, yes. Whichever you say.
Yes, we had one recently. There is another one which will. So we keep doing this from time to time because what we do is
that is also
with the learning.
Yeah, that is also free of cost for the kids. We're not charging anything for
it. पैसा मिलता है उनको. I mean, they win prizes and stuff.
अच्छा, उल्टा देते हैं आप, ठीक है, right, sir, right. Thank you so much, sir. Coming up to the almost the end of the session, the third part, we know it very well. We have to sing 2 lines before parting, and the only condition is that the person who has come for the first time will have to start first. Manisha ma'am, you have come for the first time. We have a rule in our show that at the end of the session before parting, we should have a very good time before parting, or I'll be sharing the contact details also amongst each other. So you have to sing 2 lines, any regional or devotional, any type of song you can sing, filmy song, anything. 2 lines. Everybody has to sing, ma'am. It is compulsory over here. Dimple ma'am also knows, and Nikita ma'am also knows.
I wish you had told me this before. I would be here.
No, we are not telling it. See, before we are not telling for the first episode, but when you are coming once, you're always liking to come again and again.
Okay. What do I say? Very difficult, sir. To sing 2 lines.
Ma'am,
okay.
It is nothing difficult for the principals, ma'am.
To sing.
Yeah, They are multi-talented. I say they are genies. They can do anything.
Okay. Let me sing a song that I always love. Such a feeling's coming over me. There is wonder in most everything I see. Not a cloud in the sky, got the sun in my eyes, and I won't be surprised if it's a dream. Thank you. I think 2 lines are
Thank you.
enough.
Thank you so much, ma'am. If it had been a Kapil Sharma show, I would have asked you, ma'am, did you ever thought that you will come up to Assistant Talk Show? Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm just joking, ma'am. Dimple, ma'am, we should celebrate for the new
Yeah,
achievements.
I will sing my school prayer. So I think you all will like it. हम बालक हैं तेरे, तेरे गुण गाते हैं, स्वीकार करो बंधन, हम शीश झुकाते हैं, हम बालक हैं तेरे. Thank you.
Wonderful, ma'am. Wonderful, ma'am. That's great, ma'am. The first thing you have learned in the coming inside the school is the school prayer for sure.
Yeah.
That's the spirit of Jaipurians, ma'am.
Yeah.
मुझे
Thank you, sir.
भूलना नहीं.
Sorry, ma'am.
मुझे भूलना नहीं. मैं गा रही हूँ अभी.
मैम आपका तो वो शो स्टॉपर हमें लास्ट पे इसलिए लगता है कि आप शो खत्म होने से पहले बेस्ट सॉन्ग तो अभी आएगा ना.
Oh my. तो अभी मैं गा रही हूँ. जिंदगी एक सफर है सुहाना, यहाँ कल क्या हो किसने जाना. जिंदगी एक सफर है सुहाना, यहाँ कल क्या हो किसने जाना. उड़ले उड़ले ओ, उड़ले उड़ले ओ, उड़ले उड़ले ओ, उड़ले उड़ले ओ. Thank you so much.
Very nice.
Nikita ma'am, already I'm talking to the people of Sony channel for Indian Idol. ये हमारा administrators का, principals and administrators का Indian Idol show and तो मतलब quarter final में तो आप जाने वाली है. Let's think about कि आप final में भी जा सकते हो for sure. Thank you so much everyone for coming. Thank you so much everyone for coming.
Thank you, sir.
And I hope
Thank you,
you had
everyone.
learned and had a
Great to
good
be
time.
on your show, Chandok sir, and
My pleasure,
beautifully
ma'am.
managed.
Thank you.
Nirmal Shah,
My
Lovely
pleasure.
meeting
Thank you,
all of
Manisha.
you. Thank you. Stay
I'll
in
share the
touch.
contact details with everyone.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll share the
Yes,
contact.
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Chandok sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chandok sir and Nirmal sir.
Namaskar.
Everybody on the
Bye bye.
Bye. Take care.